Right, greetings everybody. It is time to talk about some units that have previously been released. So let's start with talking a little bit about the format here. Basically, we have 3 old characters from FF9 that have been upgraded, and then we have a slew of other upgrades. I'm going to be separating each of the FF9 characters into generally mini videos, except maybe for one. That's the way this is going to work. And there is a specific reason for that. So first off, Zidan. Zidan, we're going to be running through both of his Master Quest 2s, while I am going to be talking about essentially what he and his weapon have gotten. There will also probably be a Trials of Reckoning with some piece of I think the cards will get upgraded later, as well as a few other things. But there isn't really any data on that at the moment, so I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm just going to be focusing on the general upgrade. So overall, Zidan has gotten a bunch of different upgrades, and I think that they are essentially pretty underwhelming for what I was essentially expecting. Starting off with his Master Ability 3. Including the Master Ability 2, just going to read basically everything, and this includes what he originally had, the original being 10% single target resistance, 20% reaction block. Now, he essentially has 20% defense penetration, AoE resistance penetration of 20 increase, single target resistance of 10, reaction block rate of 20, AP consumption down of 20, absorbs 30% of damage done for himself, increase critical damage by 25, increase AoE resistance penetration by 40 for self, and then increase max damage by 2000 and increase physical and magical distance-based resistance of 7 with a minimum range of 3 and a maximum range of 6. Now that is what is listed essentially on Wotv calc, and honestly it's pretty underwhelming. I think that a stat boost would have not been essentially a miss for this character because, well, yeah, I mean, he kind of does need a pretty big upgrade. But also you'll note in there is there's essentially nothing about evasion. So our little thief character, unfortunately, has kind of just become a damage dealer. I think that's kind of underwhelming just looking at it. I also think that the other general feelings of the community about how this character has been improved feels a little bit underwhelming as well. Support's counter got absolutely nothing in terms of an upgrade. The one that did get a upgrade was his decrease critical evasion by 25 for 3 turns for a target, increase critical damage resistance by 20 for 3 turns for a target. Decrease critical damage resistance, increase max damage by 4,000, and deals damage at 200. And that's the double hit ability for 26 AP that he. And honestly, it just feels kind of meh. Overall, Zidan has become essentially a damage dealer, but has kind of been really stagnated towards any type of evasion or being kind of thiefy and speedy. There's nothing really that interesting going on. Are the damage upgrades bad? No. I don't think that they are bad. It's just kind of like, I mean, he's all in on just critical, but given that evasion feels like one of the big avenues for daggers right now, it feels like he is just without too much of a actual place to be. And then here you look at this entire thing. So this is the full master ability now, and if we just take a bit of a peek as to everything that is going on here, I think this is where we just confirm that it's basically a 40% AoE resistance penetration, and that extra 20 that is listed on Wotv calc is an actual mistake. So there you go. But yeah, I have to say that I feel a little bit underwhelmed about Zidane's master ability upgrades. Thankfully, that's not the only upgrade we have. We also have the Limit Burst upgrade. Now, the Limit Burst upgrade for Zidan, if I can, my mouse will just move. I'll just pull it over here and show very quickly. Essentially, his Limit Burst hasn't changed in terms of the size. It has gone down to 33 AP, which is nice, given that he also has another AP reduction. So pretty much he's guaranteed that he will basically be able to cast Solution 9 at any chance. Now, it still has the damage for 3 damage up for 3 turns. It has now also single target resistance penetration of 40 for self and AP consumption. And this is just one of the things where looking at this Limit Burst compared to some other characters, like a lot of Zidane's attacks are a mix of single target and AoE. Back when this wasn't as much of a problem. And I feel like it just doesn't get there. It just doesn't get there. It's too much of a mix of a bunch of different stuff, and I feel like this is just not the character to invest in. So personally, my opinion on Zidan is pretty pass. The only other thing is the Mage Smasher, which it basically gives him an 200% chance of physical damage of 5% for self. So another damaging. A lot of Zidane's kit is based towards DPS, and I don't know. I don't think it gets there for where Dagger is. I think Dagger has currently better options. And given what Cujo looks like, he feels pretty underwhelming. So yeah, this upgrade is a big old miss for me. And that's it. However, of course, if I make any mistakes, I'll comment about it later. But that's where I stand currently.